Can you hear the sound? The stirrings of the mob? The witch hunt that Kevin McCarthy is orchestrating in Washington, D.C. to destroy the life of the president's adult son, Hunter Biden. Let's be clear. Everybody in America knows Hunter Biden has had a deeply troubled and a very tragic life. Why wouldn't it be the position of every decent, normal person in this country that they wish Hunter Biden luck in his recovery? More than 1 million Americans, brothers, sisters, children, husbands and wives, are dead because of the opioid epidemic. They were killed not through any fault of their own, but by the greed, the insatiable greed of families like the Sacklers. There are millions more who have survived the opioid epidemic. And there are millions more beyond that who are struggling in a life and death battle at this moment. And so it has come to pass that Kevin McCarthy, an expedient and hollow man held hostage by the extremists around him, has commenced a witch hunt against the President of the United States' troubled and only surviving son. He seeks to impeach the president, not on the basis of any evidence, except for the obvious evidence of his unfathomable and bottomless malice and ambition to please Donald Trump. Joe Biden, like all people, has many flaws, and he hasn't been a perfect president. But he has done nothing. And there is no evidence whatsoever to suggest that he has done anything that rises to the standards outlined in the American Constitution for the removal of a president of the United States under the standard of high crimes and misdemeanors. This is a fake impeachment inquiry. It is conjured up out of whole cloth. There is a sensational movie taking place and shaping a conversation in America right now. The movie, of course, is Oppenheimer. And really, there are two tracks within it. The first is around the awesome power of atomic weapons, nuclear weapons, the weapons that mankind has possessed for 80 years and have the power to extinct all life on Earth. But it is also a story about the excesses of McCarthyism. The age of accusation, the tradition of the witch hunt, is one that has flourished in America, from the Salem witch trials through the McCarthy hearings, right through to today. The false accusations being leveled don't become true the louder they get, or more often they are repeated through a vast propaganda network that includes Fox News. There are many people across America who don't like Joe Biden, and that is their right as Americans. But there is nothing that President Biden has done that would disqualify him for serving another term of president through any aspect of misconduct. It's simply made up. Thank you for listening to my political commentary. If you like what you heard today, please also consider subscribing to The Warning, daily newsletter on Substack. Our democracy hangs in the balance. The 2024 presidential election is the most consequential in America's history. It's not hyperbole, it's a fact. That is why the mission of The Warning with Steve Schmidt is to help readers orient to the currents that are shaping our times and the unseen forces driving politics that are very rarely discussed on cable news. Please sign up at Steve Schmidt, SteveSchmidt.substack.com. Again, steveschmidt.substack.com, or at the link in the show notes section below. Thank you to each and every one of you for listening and watching. Let's see how CNN framed the story. According to CNN, Speaker Kevin McCarthy in recent weeks has heard similar advice from both senior House Republican and an influential conservative lawyer. Prioritize the impeachment of President Joe Biden over a member of his cabinet. Part of the thinking, according to multiple sources familiar with the internal discussions, is that if House Republicans are going to expend precious resources on the politically tricky task of an impeachment, they might as well go after their highest target, as opposed to the Attorney General or Secretary of Homeland Security. And McCarthy, whose sources said, has also been consulting with, wait for it, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich on the issue, has warmed up to an idea that has long been relegated to the fringes of his conference. There is no fringe in the Republican conference. There is no dividing line between the normal Republicans and the extremists. The House MAGA GOP majority is the MAGA caucus. What MAGA is an extremist wrecking ball that seeks to flatten American history, America's ideas, ideals, and progress in the search for a just society that has gone on for almost 250 years. There is nothing new regarding Kevin McCarthy's actions. It is the logical next step and the continuation of the Michael Flynn-led chants of lock her up from the floor of the Republican convention. Why try to defeat an opponent at the ballot box? Why try to incite an argument about ideas when you can simply lock up your opponent, destroy them, smear them into oblivion? By the way, what normal parent would ever risk the mental health of their children by running for office? Look at what Kevin McCarthy is doing to the Biden family. In essence, what he's guaranteeing is that no family will put themselves forward to do this unless they're one that is so hard, so tough, so shaped by tragedy that they've by some miracle become, I suppose, immune to it at some level, like the Bidens. In the end, the American people should want normal people to run for the highest offices in the land. But who will run? Who will serve if you know the price of that service is the hunting and the destruction of your children? And that if they do make mistakes and their life collapses and it falls apart, and as they struggle to get back up on their feet, there will be someone in the opposing political party, maybe someone like Lindsey Graham, an exquisite scumbag who once professed close friendship with you, who will be trying to put his boot onto the throat of your troubled kid at their most vulnerable hour. This is a politics of cruelty, of malice, and it goes nowhere good. When you strip your opponents of their basic humanity, when you look at your fellow citizens as existential threats and enemies, where does anyone think that leads? It leads where it has always been clear that it leads. It leads to chaos and mayhem and violence. And in the end, it can lead to the fall of a democratic society. What Kevin McCarthy and House Republicans are doing to Hunter Biden is wrong. It is deeply wrong. And it is immoral. They are using political power to persecute the child of a political opponent. The Congress of the United States is not the appropriate jurisdiction to examine Hunter Biden's life or to hold Hunter Biden accountable. Hunter Biden is in the criminal justice system, and he will be held accountable appropriately there. We don't want America's elected politicians involved in this space. It is rife for abuse, the type of abuse that has led to unspeakable tragedy in other nations, but not here. Witch hunts, retribution, revenge. That is the MAGA platform. Vandalizing the nation, tearing down its pillars. And you know what? It's absolutely working. We live in an era where trust has collapsed in nearly every institution in this country. One of those that had been immune was the U.S. military, but no longer. Trust in the military is collapsing, and with no group faster than self-identified Republicans who've seen a collapse of more than 30% in 2 short years. It's no surprise, because they are members of a religion that is faithless, that does not believe, that has turned cancerous and hostile against the red, white, and blue, against the American flag, against the American dream, against the American creed. These faithless people, many of them in the United States Congress, have lost sight of the greatness and the majesty of this country as they have been consumed by their ambitions and their selfishness. A great nation certainly cannot endure for long when the lowest people amongst us are its leaders. Leaders like Kevin McCarthy, who know nothing of decency, of kindness, of empathy, of any of the virtues that are necessary for political leadership in a great country. What Kevin McCarthy and the MAGA Congress are doing to the Biden family is appalling. Hunter Biden has made many mistakes in his life. These congressional hearings aren't about that. They are about his destruction. They are about politics. And after 7 long years of Donald Trump on the national stage, in the 3rd decade of the 21st century, is this really what the purpose and sum of American politics is? The destruction of Hunter Biden? It's sick. It's unworthy. And anybody who thinks that this is not a sign of American decay, of a rottenness from within, well, let's just say they have their head somewhere where it will be very hard to retrieve it from. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you never miss a video. Also, for more content just like this, please consider joining our Warning Premium community. You can find out more in the description below.